well done. Was that a...
7 for Arsenal means they move up to second in the Premier League standings, moving ahead of Chelsea and Nottingham Forest as well. Not a vintage performance, but really, as he said, 3 points are all that matters.
Yeah, it was. They weren't at their best tonight, Arsenal, but they found a way to get it done. Probably should have had more goals and made it a little bit more comfortable. But I never really felt like they were in any real danger, really. Ipswich maybe second half could have committed more men forward and really caused them a problem. They didn't. And in the end, you look back 1-0, and that's probably a fair result in reflection of the game.
I feel like Arsenal this season, Manu, have been like this in this game, where it's really hard work scoring, and then you have other matches like the Crystal Palace one, where everything they seem to
up and down
to...
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
But that shows you how competitive is this league. You know, it's very hard to win games in the Premier League, so I'm not surprised about that. You see what Everton did against Manchester City, and we all know that Manchester City, at the moment, they are not really good. You know, but again. I was a little bit scared at the end of the game, the last 15 minutes, because I've seen Ipswich, you know, changing their mindset and trying. I think that they thought they could do something at the end of the game to get a point from it. So when you don't kill the game, you have such big occasion to score and you don't do it. The opponent sometimes, you know, they believe and they come back into the game.
Yeah, it was 1-0 in the 23rd minute, and it stayed 1-0, as you mentioned, so close. But let's look at the goal that ultimately won this game for Arsenal. It starts with Martinelli, and it goes all the way to the other wing, where Trossard is waiting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great cross from Trossard there, putting it into the right area, and Kai Havertz finishes it well. But as I said, Arsenal at first were putting way too many of these crosses in, that deep. I mean, as I said, Ipswich Town, their 3 centre-halves are all 6'3+", so you were never going to score from a cross like that. But then when it does come out to Trossard here, he does really well. But Kai Havertz gets himself into that situation where he's between the full-back and the centre-back, and then he gets himself in there, and it's a really nice finish, Manu.
It's a really nice finish, but I think it's poor defending, poor communication between the last 2 defenders on the far post. I think he's kind of lucky, you know, to get the ball, Kai Havertz, on this occasion.
And talk to me about the timing as well. He seems to wait just a little bit, stay on side, stay in the right position.
I love sometimes Kai Havertz, you know, in this position, because he forgets him. He's like a ghost sometimes for a defender. Typical strikers, so sometimes his movements are great, you know, because of that. And this is exactly what happened on this occasion.
Even with that goal there as well, when you look at it from an Ipswich defensive position, there's too many lazy legs at it. No one really sets themselves in their body position to go and clear it. You've got Wolfenden, who just tries to swing his right foot at it. Jacob Greaves goes with his left foot to try to hook it away, which is never going to happen. If they'd have got themselves back into shape maybe a second quicker, they could have gone on and headed it. They could have headed it away and cleared the ball. But the fact that they almost get sucked in by the movement of Arsenal, they all wave their legs at it, is a poor defensive goal for Ipswich to concede.
Yeah, it must be even more frustrating considering they were so defensively set up. They had so many numbers back. They were so disciplined, as we'd been saying at half-time.
Yeah, they were, and again, it was going to have to take something special or a bit of creative spark from Arsenal to kind of break them down, because they had so many men behind the ball. But that was always the fear. The longer the game went on, if it had stayed at 0-0, you'd go, Ipswich, fantastic. They've done really well. They've made it so difficult. Arsenal might have started to panic a little bit and maybe force the issue. The fact that Arsenal then score in that period, it's almost like, can Ipswich kind of flip out of that defensive mindset and go on the offensive? And they couldn't do that. And as I said, Arsenal were comfortable-ish, but I never really felt that they were in any real danger.
Yeah, just one
I think in the first half, they used too many crosses, you know, Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think it was over the top sometimes, you know, and they try to cross all the time the ball, and they forget the way they used to play, you know, great movement, great passing, you know, in between lines.
Yeah, just the one goal, because Arsenal did have plenty.
Oh, this one.
Is this the Gabriel?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but Gabriel, he has been the master in that position. The fact that he misses the target from there, I was shocked. I was shocked as anyone.
I think everyone was, to be honest with you, even Martinelli's reaction. But this shows that they had opportunities.
He had. And as we said, Ipswich defended very well. The goalkeeper as well. Odegaard made a great run inside, you know, the penalty box. And he almost, you know, scored that goal. And as well, Declan Rice. I think it was unlucky, but again, great defending.
A nice strike there from Moreno, to be fair. He's done quite well since he's come into the team. Just tries to kind of sell it out that far post, and he probably doesn't get enough on it. But it's a really good save there from Muric.
Yeah, towards the end, you said it was comfortable-ish, but towards the end, Manu was in full panic mode. Let's just
the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, let's look at the chance that Ipswich had pretty late on. Could have done something with it.
Yeah, I was a little bit scared because they approached the last third of the pitch, and Arsenal were dropping, badly, defensively. And I thought, when you're leading the score only 1-0, everything can happen. And, you can slip on the floor. You can have a bad movement, something like that, bad communication, and all of a sudden you conceded a goal. So I was scared that probably on this strike that Kai Havertz was touching the ball with his hand. So a little bit nervous, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is Arsenal's form in the last 8, unbeaten, 5th win in 7 for them tonight. And just looking at some of those results, beating West Ham, beating Manchester United. And as I was saying to you, actually, there's some games where they've not scored, like Everton, or scored just 1 goal, like Fulham, like Chelsea as well. And then West Ham is 5, Crystal Palace is 5 goals.
I don't know how to explain that. It's a beauty of the Premier League. And sometimes you have the feeling that, especially at home, when Arsenal, are unbeaten, since a long time now, and they used to beat every single team that come at the Emirates. So it was a hard game tonight. They were struggling to score and to take the advantage of so many occasions. But at the end, it's a clean sheet. It's 3 points, and they're second on the table.
Yeah, the main challenges to Liverpool, as it's, we're going to look at the challenge that Arsenal pose in just a second, but we want to get some post-match reactions from the Emirates Stadium, and for that, we're going to hear now from Kalvin Phillips.
Well, Kalvin, you kept it tight. You kept them at arm's length in the second half, certainly. In the end, did you feel you maybe...
It's difficult to say, really. I know Arsenal are a very good team. They had a lot of the ball. Well, created quite a few chances. But yeah, I thought to be fair, we turned the game around once we went 1-0 down. We created a few opportunities, but they just need that extra little bit of special play, probably at the end of a phase where we create a really good chance.
Yeah, I think the frustration is no shots on target, I think, for the first time this season for you.
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously it's always difficult coming here. Don't really have much to lose, so we kind of in the second half just thought, if we can kind of force them into making mistakes and try and build on that, then we might create a few chances, but just not quite get the shot on target. And
exactly, you need that finishing touch. For you, first start I think since October. How do you think you did, and how do you feel about your game?
Did all right. I was blowing probably towards the end, but I've not played for quite a long time. But yeah, I felt like I did all right. It was nice to be back playing. And we've got a good group, good coach, and good staff at this club, and they keep us fit even when we're not playing. So yeah, I felt okay, and happy to be back on the pitch.
Yeah, and up against, of course, your old England colleague Declan Rice. What do you make of this Arsenal?
Yeah, really good team, really strong. I think obviously Liverpool are the standout team so far in the Premier League, but I think Arsenal are the ones that are going to probably come close towards the end. And yeah, they're a great team. They've got great players, and yeah, it was nice to play against them as well.
And what's the target for you? 2025, a new year dawns. We know the levels you can reach. What target, if any, have you set yourself?
Just to play as many games as possible. Obviously, I had a long time without playing many games, and I'm always at my best when I'm playing week in, week out. And
that would have been tough.
Yeah, it would have been.
Not playing.
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? It's football. When you join a team like Manchester City and you train with the best players in the world every single day, you kind of, it's kind of tough when you're not involved, but you just have to stay strong. And I've come here and I've got a coach that believes in me and gives me the trust that I probably need to go out and perform. And I think for me it's just about playing as many games as possible and getting as fit as possible, and hopefully the good touches and the hard work will come.
Good to see you out there. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
First start since November the 2nd for Kalvin Phillips. Ipswich still second from bottom in the Premier League standings. Interesting to hear him talking about not playing regularly and how tough that's been for him.
It has been. He's had a tough couple of years. He obviously had the big move to Manchester City, didn't work out. He was a regular in the England squad as well, playing alongside Declan Rice. Went to West Ham, didn't play again. And he's got to Ipswich and he's had a bit of stop-start season as well. He's had the injuries, he's lack of form, and I thought he did okay tonight. I thought if you look back at his performance, I thought he did all right. He tried to break up things, got around the pitch quite well, used the ball, I thought, relatively well as well. But they're going to need him, Ipswich. He's probably one of the only players in that squad that's got Premier League experience. He's played at the top level. But unfortunately, with players like Gudstead and Sam Moores, who was suspended, these two guys have played really well for Ipswich, so he's going to have to bide his time. But I think he'll look back at that performance tonight and go, I did okay.
Yeah.
They are facing a big battle to stay in this league, though.
Especially, I think, if you want to save your skin, it's first of all, you have to win games at home. That's the most difficult task, for every single team, and this is probably the biggest problem for Ipswich.
Do you know what? They have left a lot of points on the table. That's been the problem for Ipswich this season. You look at when they play Brentford, they go 2-0 up. It ends up being 2-2, then they lose that game 90+4, I think it is. They played Leicester 90+4. I mean, I think Bournemouth was another one they're winning 90+5. They've had opportunities there to win games, but maybe it's experience, that lack of Premier League experience. They just haven't got it over the line. But I still believe that Ipswich Town can stay in this division 100%.
Yeah, and needing to make, as you guys mentioned, your home ground a fortress. Both of their wins so far have come on the road. More reaction from the Emirates Stadium. The last match, no points for Ipswich tonight. All three of them stay in North London because Arsenal have won this encounter 1-0. It is their 5th win in 7 in the Premier League. Let's hear the thoughts of their manager now. Here's Mikel Arteta.
Is that closer than it should have been?
It was what it was, He was, in the first half especially, super dominant. We generated some good chances, don't concede anything. Probably we should have scored another one. To be different, we started second half, obviously not great, giving the first ball away straight from the kickoff. And then, credit to them, they are really well organized, really well coached. It's hard to break them down. We had 2-3 big chances again in the second half. But when you don't score the second one in this league, the last few minutes, they start to put people forward and start to be very direct, fullbacks really high. And it's the feeling more than anything, because they didn't have any chances, but the feeling that, anything can happen still. And we hate it.
Is there a bit of satisfaction that you got over the line today, whereas the Everton game that was quite similar, where you dominated and it finished 0-0, but today you got that win?
Yes, obviously, and scoring the goal obviously changes. They had a bit more aggressive behaviour and open up a lot of space in the second half. But and we saw the game. As soon as you have to defend your box, then we have to play in the final third and play that game just to allow the time and the time go. We did really well. So, in this period, so hard to win. You see it with the other position. So, another good step.
No Saka, we know he's going to be out for a while. How do you think the players stepped up? We know that Martinelli played on that side of the pitch, but you wanted everyone to sort of chip in.
Yeah, it's very good. It will be different. It was different. We had moments first half, better moments in the second half as well. Obviously, it's a unit that is new, and it would take sometimes as well for us to understand better each other. But Gavi, I think, did some very good things in the game.
Up to second, 6 points away from Liverpool. I know it's not where you want to be right now. You want to be top, but it's not a bad position to attack from in the second half of the season?
Well, considering all the circumstances that we had this season, with the amount of time that we had to play with 10 men, all the injuries that we had to be in the position that we are in all competitions, I think it's good, but it's not what we want. We want to be first.
Top man, Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
So, Arsenal, are they the main challengers to Liverpool? Where are they at in this title race?
You'd have to say so. Obviously got experience the last couple of seasons pushing Manchester City close. You fully expected probably if Manchester City were to have a kind of blip that Arsenal would be the team that would probably take over, but it hasn't been the case. Liverpool have been fantastic and rightly so. Yeah. But they've got to just keep pushing. Again, I've spoken about belief on the show enough. Arsenal have got to keep believing. They've still loads of points to play for. Liverpool, at some point, you'd expect to have a blip, but Arsenal can't use that as an excuse. They've just got to keep winning their games, picking up points, and then hopefully they can push them all the way.
Yeah, just hearing him say that it's so difficult to win in this period. He'll remember what happened last year. Probably got a little bit of trauma from it. So he was saying he's just happy to be there at this point in time, considering everything that's happened to them this season.
Of course. It's a long way to go, the Premier League. So we are just crossing, the Christmas time now. And we know how difficult it is in this period, the amount of games, tiredness of the players. So I'm very happy so far with his work since he came to Arsenal. And obviously, 6 points behind Liverpool. Liverpool has a game in hand. So against Everton, I think, if I remember well, a derby. So you never know, Look what happened to Manchester City 7 weeks ago, they were first in the table.
Yeah.
Now they dropped 7. This is exactly what Arne Slot, said to his players before the game yesterday. Remember what happened. It happens very quickly in football. So believe in your singer.
Yeah, let's look at what's coming up for Arsenal. They play next on New Year's Day, and that's a late kick-off and a London derby at Brentford. And then a couple of difficult games. Every game is difficult, of course. The FA Cup game against Manchester United is one that stands out on the 12th of Jan. There's a midweek North London derby as well. And they also have Champions League to focus on.
Yeah, there's a lot of games, fixture pile up, but Arsenal, again, you look at those fixtures, yes, there's some good sides in there, but there's no one in there you'd probably say, yeah, Arsenal, they should beat Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal in this form, I know the Saka situation long-term may hurt Arsenal, but they've got to look at all those fixtures and feel like they can win absolutely every single one of them.
Maybe they can sign players, during the transfer windows.
This is the big question, yeah.
It's very hard, as Guardiola said, to get top players at this moment, But you never know. There is some players available, actually, so outside, England. So maybe why not?
Well, I think for them, the priority, certainly from all the analysis that's been done, has to be someone up front. A striker. Who would you get?
Someone up front, but I think quality players, because when I look at the squad at Liverpool, they look so strong, especially up front. They have so many talents, so many options, And the spine of the team has been playing for ages, all together. And they look so happy to play, the joy they bring on the pitch. I watched the game when they were conceding the first goal and they won the game 3-1. It was lovely to watch them, the joy they have, all together on the pitch and the link between the players. But as well, when you look at the squad, you look at the bench, for me, there is a difference with Arsenal, actually.
Yeah, Benty, is there a specific kind of centre-forward that they need, do you think?
Well, I think that's what's going to be the problem, is what centre-forward you get. Like everyone likes Isaac. He seems to be the natural fit. I can't see Newcastle getting him from... They're not going to get him from Newcastle. So I think now, all of a sudden, you're looking around thinking, who's going to be perfect? So you might have to go and find someone that's maybe a little bit more versatile, that can play centre-forward, can play left, can play right, just to add goals. But I think if you're quite narrow-minded and go, right, we want one centre-forward for this position, I mean, how many is there out there? And how many of those type of centre-forwards can you go and get realistically? Probably none of them. So that's where you have to be maybe a little bit more cuter in your scouting network, maybe have a look in different markets. But I don't think it's as simple as just going, Arsenal need a centre-forward and that's it. I just think they need more options in that top 3 positions at the top end of the pitch.
Well, I have a feeling this transfer window is going to be wild. Man, we cannot wait not too long before it all opens.
Something to say about that had it ended 1-1. Last 8 Premier League results are unbeaten. Arsenal 5 victories, 3 draws, doing well. Certainly right now, best run of the season so far in terms of results. Let's hear from a couple of their players. Declan Rice, but first Leandro Trossard.
Good victory, good match. Your feeling after this important victory for Arsenal?
Yeah, it's a good win. I think we made it a bit harder for ourselves by not scoring a second or a third. But at the end of the day, we take the 3 points, and it's a good game for us.
At the top, yes, it's a Liverpool, but the second team is Arsenal. Is this a message to all the team in Premier League?
No, we want to win every game, and that's what we want to do from now on for the rest of the season. And we started today, so hopefully we can go on from this.
We can do a balance of this first part of the season. Is a good moment, is a good first 6 months for Arsenal, or no?
Yeah, of course. I think we're still competing in every competition. We're pushing for everything, so it's good at the end.
It wasn't the prettiest of games, but the most important thing is a win, a clean sheet, and moving to second place, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, we dominated the game, if I'm being honest, and that's been the theme for the last couple of weeks. We're spending a lot of time in the opposition's attacking half, and oppositions are just sitting really deep and trying to stop us, and it's down to us to break that down. Obviously, we went 1-0 up, it was a really good goal, and maybe could have had 2 or 3, and that's down to us to kill the game off. We don't want to be letting teams back in, and in the end, it was a really big win for tonight, and now we move on to a massive game at Brentford.
You said you could have 2 or 3. One of these chances came to you from a corner, which was a different corner this time, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we need to have the variation. To take these corners, teams are obviously trying to stop us because it's a massive strength of ours, and obviously to not score that was really disappointing because I hit the ball so nicely. But yeah, it will come for sure.
Everybody knows the numbers of Bukayo Saka in terms of scoring goal and assist. How big a challenge is it for the team now to step up and try to compensate for his goals and assists as well?
Massive. We all need to take responsibility. You know, we all need to chip in with goals, assists, and yeah, we just got to keep going. He's obviously going to be a massive loss for us because he is some player, one of the best in the world, and anyone would be hit hard when they lose one of their best players. But it's down to us, you know, with the challenge that we have to win games without him, and hopefully we can do that.
In the last 2 seasons, you were in a position where you're in the top of the league. Now you're in second place. Would you prefer to be the hunter rather than being hunted by other teams? And what kind of mentality you need to be in this situation?
Just got to keep going, keep pushing, keep taking it game by game. I think that's the most important thing. I think you can't be thinking about, you know, opposition and what other teams are doing. I think it's down to us, and you know, we have a beautiful challenge ahead to chase Liverpool down, and it's one we can really try and cherish and grab. So look, let's just keep pushing.
And do you feel Arsenal is the real contender to chase Liverpool? Because people talking about Chelsea, but Chelsea lost to Fulham. Manchester City are not having the great season. Is it only Arsenal who can mount a pressure on Liverpool at the top?
No, Chelsea can, for sure. They're an amazing team, have a lot of quality, a lot of depth. I think they've surprised a lot of people this season. Obviously, Man City, people are going to write them off, but they've been the best team in the world for the last 5 years. You know, you can't never write off Manchester City, Newcastle, Aston Villa. You know, teams are really, really good, and you know, everyone's a threat to everyone. You know, so we just got to take it game by game and not worry too much about Liverpool and just focus on ourselves.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Points, and Lee Dixon's absolutely right. It's a scruffy victory. Everybody's happy, but there's something in that still doesn't. I'm sort of looking ahead of the upcoming games and the title challenge and how Liverpool look glossy and classy and effortless and simple. And I know that Arsenal had a great victory last week against Crystal Palace. I guess I just expected a bit more from a team playing against the side that's second bottom, Ipswich, that they did bonker in a little bit, and it was a little awkward and a little scruffy. And of course the 3 points matters, but in the long, you know, of the rest of the season, does that look like a team that can brush aside teams and win a little easier than that? And that's where I'm a little concerned after that one. Well, maybe I've just been a little bit harsh.
You tell me, does it look like a team of Premier League champions in 5 months' time?
It looks like a team that's got a champion back four and goalkeeper, I know that.
OK.
So it's got a champion defence. Kai Havertz impressed me, you know, in terms of what he did today. Not only the goal, but his general performance, his general kind of helping of the team. Defensively, he was in good spots. It just seemed a little bit like a stretched, panicked Arsenal to win. A little nervy at the end because they couldn't get the second goal. And I just, expected a bit more.
I suppose the flip side is we've sat here on many occasions in the last 12 years and said, well, if you don't play well and you win, it's a sign of a good team.
You get the 3 points, you get the win. In the long run, it won't be about the performance. There are going to be other days that are going to be bigger questions. Today, I suppose one of the worries would be, what does it look like without Bukayo Saka? You lose a bit of threat, you lose a bit of creativity, you lose a bit of, you know, this guy provides something, whether it's goals, assists, whether it's taking people on. There was a stage in that game where 1-0 suited both teams. 1-0, Arsenal were up, they didn't want to take a risk, that's 3 points. 1-0, Ipswich had a goal or something away from getting a point. And so both teams kind of didn't want to push it too far, and that's why we got what we got.
Simply put, Robbie Mustoe, how much does Arteta, 5 years, 1 day in the job, need another trophy?
I like what he's done. I know what you mean, and some people will point to just an FA Cup. I've seen progression over the seasons. I expect him to win the title at the start of the season. Tougher now, given how Liverpool have played, but I think I know where you're going with this, and as if it drops up a little bit from here, then where do we stand with the manager? I'm still a fan, given where they were when he took over and the young team that he's got better and better and better. For me, if they don't win a trophy this season, they don't win the league or a cup, come away from a really great side.
Rob?
Progression is important, but eventually silverware will be as well. He's at one of the biggest football clubs in world football. He's had many of the players he's wanted to bring. Yes, he's had a few injuries at key times, but he hasn't got over the line, and he needs to get over the line somewhere.
You said progression is important. Are they progressing?
Their football is played at a different level now. They are progressing, but eventually progression is won by trophies. It is decided by trophies, by winning silverware. And eventually, as much as Robbie can say the things he's done, people will start to ask the hard question that you're asking. Has there been enough silverware delivered?
OK, well, one man who impressed the chaps this evening, Kai Havertz. Let's hear from him inside the tunnel at the Emirates.
Well, you knew it was going to be hard, obviously, having gone a goal down, but then sort of forced your way back territorially in the second half. How do you sum it up?
Yeah, I think it was a difficult first 20 minutes. We got pinned in by a good side. They didn't have a lot of chances, but they had all the territory. We still need to defend the goal better because we had the bodies there to defend it. But after that, we grew into the game well. To be honest, we managed to turn a little bit of momentum before the first half, and then in the second half, we managed to make it a much more even game, and we got to some really good positions, and we just didn't have the quality to go and turn really good positions into really good chances.
Yeah, a really good chance after 20 seconds.
Yeah, I've not seen that one back, but that was. We didn't have much in the first half, but in the second half, I said we got to good positions throughout the second half, and we just weren't quite able to turn it into a big chance.
Yeah, is that mentality as well? Is that a little bit maybe of almost trying too hard?
No, I don't think necessarily mentality. I think there was a few situations late in the game where we could have showed a little bit more belief to really go and take it on, to take the 1v1 on, to drive at them into the box, and we were just a little bit hesitant. So, I think from where we were after 20 minutes in their stadium with, a fresh Arsenal and a very good side to where we had the game on 89 minutes, I think the players can take a lot of credit.
I was going to say, what does this give you, potentially, for the other games maybe where you will be expected to get more from? And what does that give the players in confidence terms?
Yeah, I think it was important that we had a night that we were solid. To be honest, after our last game was the first one in a long time really that we got opened up in, so we needed to be solid tonight and feel that we can be compact as a team and work and defend together, which we've done many times this year, but we needed to feel that tonight. So we'll take confidence from that, and then again, I think the way that we turned the momentum in the second half and got the game to a good position for ourselves late in the game to do that away at Arsenal with a situation of where they are and where we are, I think is something that we can take confidence from.
And Kalvin Phillips, talking to him, he was very pleased to play and to get through the game. It's been hard for him. Can he be a key figure for you as you build this season and obviously intend?
Yeah, let's hope so. He had a good run of games in the earlier part of the season after arriving late, and then he's had his injury for a few weeks and sort of been building his way up. But I thought he'd done well tonight, and to be fair to Luke Wolfenden as well, players coming in the team who haven't played a lot lately, and they acquitted themselves really, really well.
Thank you, Kieran.
Thank you.
About those chances late on for Ipswich, but what about in the very first minute of the first half and second half?
Exactly, yeah. Start of each half was a little bit sloppy from the Gunners, and they could have received a kick, in the head, because you can be surprised by the opponent, the first minute of each half. So this is exactly what happened. But hopefully for the Gunners, Ipswich didn't have the quality, to hurt them.
They might catch some teams out with that. They've got some big games coming up, some tough ones as well, as every game is in the Premier League. Let's look at what's coming up for Ipswich. I know they face a couple of teams in the top half, including Chelsea, and that's coming up on Sunday. Another London match up against Fulham. There's Manchester City, Liverpool in there as well, Aston Villa, Tottenham, Manchester United. That's going all the way up to March with Crystal Palace. Difficult.
Headache.
They have got some tough games, but it's getting to the time now where we're getting past the Christmas period and you've got to just take what you can get now. You've got to be picking up points, and yes, the run's going to be difficult. Chelsea, Fulham's in there. But it was almost a welcome to the Premier League this season anyway. They played Liverpool and Manchester City their first two games. So they would have understood that going into this Premier League season after two games, they were probably going to have no points. But I think they've shown more than enough against the likes of City, Liverpool, which played Aston Villa, Arsenal this evening, that they can get points in this league. As I said, I gave an example earlier about some of the games that they've dropped points in when they probably shouldn't have done. I think they've got more than enough, but they've got to keep believing. The fans have been fantastic. They'll stay with the team, but the players on the pitch as well, because Kieran will keep believing, the manager. The players have got to believe on that pitch that they can get something from every single one of those games. It will be difficult, but it's getting to that time then where they've got to do that.